Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the G Show, the run through of the 2020 G1 Climax 30. I am your host, Justin, here with Cyrus. We have now cleared the first week of the G1. We need a round of applause for that. We did it. No problems, no hiccups. We were able to watch all the shows, and I think they've been pretty enjoyable. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah. It being like super enjoyable and like most of these shows like having like probably like one match that is just like, oh Lord, and like one match, like two bad matches or like meh matches at most, you know?
Yeah, they haven't been outright terrible. I feel like last year has had some outright terrible shows, and so far of the four that we've had so far, they've been really strong shows. I can't commend them enough, and I think what we should do at the end of the show is kind of just give up our opinions on the matches to watch going forward. But we've got two stacked cards again. We got G1 Climax Night 3 and Night 4 to do. Let's start right off with G1 Climax Night 3. This again, another A block show here. I think possibly strongest show of the tournament so far. What do you think?
Damn. Can you read me off the card of night 3? And
we've had that extremely good Ospreay Ishii match. You had that extremely good Jay White Ibushi match. You had Suzuki Taichi. You had Cobb and Shingo. I think the only real weak match there was Yujiro and Okada.
Yeah, that match was really bad. And I don't know, because night 4 also has some like a really outright terrible match, but I'm gonna go with night 4 having the best set of night.
Okay, cool. We'll get to night 4 in just a second. But with night 3, we started off with Jeff Cobb and Shingo. Very surprising. And let me just say right here, I texted Cyrus and said, you might want to change your predictions for the winner of the A block. Because Shingo's not doing
cooked.
too good.
Shingo's cooked. Oh, wait. Let's go back to that text, because so Jeff Cobb wins here. And I said, oh, it's over for him. It's over for Shingo, because if he's going to lose to Jeff Cobb, there is no way in hell that he's going to beat Suzuki, Ibushi, Ospreay, Okada.
There's no way. It's over for him. It's okay. Like, you can't always.
It's cooked. He's cooked. It's over.
When Taichi beat him, I was like, yeah, it's not looking too good for him. He's already racked up 2 losses here. I thought the match with Jeff Cobb's a little sloppy for me at points. There was the one powerbomb spot that I thought didn't look too good. But overall, I just thought it was kind of like middle of the road. What do you think?
Same there. I didn't think when you text me your thoughts on it, I haven't seen the match yet, and I was like, oh, it's not too terrible, or I'm not truly seeing where the sloppiness came from until the powerbomb spot, and that's kind of where the match sort of just nosedive, and it just becomes truly nothing. I don't think any of them do anything impressive. This is just a middle of the road match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had high hopes for it in the beginning because it was 2 big dudes slapping meat. But it just didn't live up to my expectations. But I went about 3 on it. But it could definitely. No, actually, I went 2 on it. But it could definitely. I think both guys could have better showings. I've never been a huge fan of Jeff Cobb. He had a really violent match with Joey Janela that I saw at PWG about 2 years ago, and I thought that was the pinnacle of him. But we'll see where he goes from here. Next up, we've got Yujiro versus Okada. We got to have a conversation about Okada. We're going to have a lot of conversations today, but the Okada conversation has to be had right now. What's going on with your mans? Are you on mute? Sorry.
Okay, so that's like 3 minutes I have to cut out.
It's all silent. Actually, I even left it to a question, so it's actually perfect. It's gonna be easy for you to edit. I asked you, what's going on with Okada?
Okay, all right. So give me a couple seconds. I don't know what's up with Okada. I just think that Yujiro just doesn't work with him. You know, they just don't mesh well.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. Like I mean, even right from night one, where he didn't really like have a super stellar match with Ibushi, I thought it was kind of like lower standards for Okada. He hasn't gotten into the groove, and honestly, like I think he's probably worked a lot more than even Naito has in the last couple months. So like the rustiness, I'm just not sure where it's coming from, but the Yujiro match just did not like impress me whatsoever. It was really boring. I do not like the money clip submission. I hate the name. I think it's really a really bad submission. And I mean, we've seen the Yujiro biting his hand counter a million times.
Yeah, I'm not like people that do the biting. I think that's so like ass. Like that's just leave that shit to Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is the only dude that I can tolerate the whole biting thing from. But I don't know, they just don't mesh well. And out of all the submissions that we see from a lot of these people, Okada having like the worst one is like, what are you doing? Just do the Rainmaker. Just do it.
Or just do it better Cobra Clutch. Like this is the terrible Cobra Clutch variation.
Like think of all the great submission like moves that we have. We have Yoshihashi doing a great one. We have Sonata's Skull End. We have Zack Sabre Jr. Naito's I don't know what they call it. Whenever they say the name, it just goes by so fast, and I miss it. But just like it's just weird shit. Like it don't work for him. Like develop a power bomb or something. Like you're a tall dude.
Yeah. So Okada wins. Raising his stakes up again on the G1. Next up, we have Minoru Suzuki versus Taichi in one of my sleeper matches, most shocking match that I really enjoyed. And this is 2 nights in a row that had these types of matches. Taichi's really impressing. Suzuki's really impressing. The amount of violence that they show and like, and I think I texted you when I said this, but they both cheated in the match, so it kind of canceled out the annoyance that I had about cheating because they were both game to do it. The psychology here being that Suzuki is trying to bring out the best in Taichi, and then Taichi is trying to prove to Suzuki, his teacher, his leader, that he's strong enough to beat him, and he does in the match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just thought the psychology of it is great, and they both pull out chairs, and I was just like, yeah, this is dumb. I love it. You know, they're just like they just keep trying to cheat each other. And then Taichi's just like, all right, like screw the cheating, like we're gonna wrestle, and then he gets the win on him, and I think that's great. Like Suzuki, this is like the few times Suzuki's ever wrestled one of his own boys, and I thought this was a great first time.
Yeah, he gave Taichi a lot, and I think it went a long way in kind of legitimizing him. I think like at first you were like, yeah, he's a tag champion, he has to win, but like he didn't really have to win this one. You know what I'm saying? So like, it shows that like there's a real push here, and if he wanted to, you know, like this could be an actual program down the line, you know, between these two. Next up, we have Ospreay versus Ishii. I'm a little concerned, Cyrus. You know why?
Oh, why?
I know you see where they're going with Ospreay right now, and it's getting quite clear what this run is being modeled after, and who it's being modeled after. Very concerning that New Japan at least doesn't address this with Ospreay. Taking the character, the man away from the character, he's been stellar so far in the G1. This match is no different. Ishii's always going to give you a banger, and their match with Ospreay is no different. I really freaking enjoy this. If not for like the main event, it's like back and forth between which one's my favorite match of the night here. One of my favorite spots here was the Stormbreaker, which he turned into the Gotch Power Driver. That looked like it.
That shit was so like, yeah. I don't know. Ishii was just like, oh, Stormbreaker, yeah, I'll break, boom, right on his neck. Man got full, like awesome Tom and Jerry just got like folded. Like I thought this was really great as well. Ospreay trying to do like his little striking stuff, and he's doing it fairly well, at some point until Ishii activates the tank buff.
Yeah.
And then just starts eating them. Similar to when when Tanahashi was just eating Ibushi's blows that won Wrestle Kingdom. No, it wasn't Wrestle Kingdom.
The finals, right?
Yeah. Shit, heat.
Yeah, I think again, proving that I think it's twofold what they're trying to prove here with Ospreay, that he can wrestle as a heavyweight. You see a lot of the flippy stuff has gone down, a lot of the crazy.
Thank God, because that was my main criticism. I just didn't truly like some of the flip stuff, and he does. He has Ishii just hanging off the ropes, and it's just like Ishii just looks like an idiot just waiting, like just standing there. But that was like the only like silly flippy thing the whole match, and I liked it.
Yeah, I think that he's just really proving that he can work at that heavyweight level. I'm still not a fan of, like I said, like I'm the Stormbreaker into the Gotch Pile Driver. He's still doing the Hidden Blade. I'm not a fan of the Hidden Blade. I'm not a dog.
I think we said it the last time. We're not fans of the Hidden Blade here.
No.
I don't think it's cool.
I do not. I really do not like that move. It just looks so dangerous. Ishii's game for anything. So like, at the end of the day, he's gonna do what he's gonna do. But there's also people like that he can actually hurt with that move. I just really never been a fan of it. Ospreay beats Ibushi, or not Ibushi, Ishii here with the Stormbreaker, which is becoming quite the strong finisher here. No one has kicked out of it yet so far. It leads us to the main event.
You know how that goes. Nobody kicks out of it. Somebody kicks out of it once. We're kicking out of it twice.
But they toned it down. Even in the main event here between Jay White and Ibushi, they've toned down the finisher kickouts a lot and really taken matches down a notch. These matches, the main events, they're going to go about 25 minutes, and they've all been very few near falls, which I can appreciate here. Again, like the pacing for these shows have been excellent. Like I cannot commend New Japan enough for this. But with Jay White and Ibushi, we've hit another level here with Jay White, right? Like I feel like
Jersey up.
I think no, we don't talk about a jersey. We gotta talk not
okay,
yet.
Okay. All right. It's flowers for now. The jerseys are coming later.
The jerseys are coming. I got to see what he does. And I said this today. Like, I want to see what he does in a match where he doesn't cheat at all. And I think there was one moment where it's like he did the interference gimmick. But for the most part, this match in the third half ended very, plainly, very like simple. And Jay White gets a clean win in the revenge on Ibushi from earlier this year, Wrestle Kingdom. Mm-hmm. I thought this match was phenomenal. I think Jay White is really coming into his own, and I'm really impressed, especially from where I felt about him last year.
Yeah, this between A block and B block, this isn't my favorite night, but this is my favorite match. Okay. I thought Jay White was on a whole nother level, and just. You notice that the people in the crowd aren't saying names, and I think that is because of COVID, so they're just restricting everything to claps. So I think it is hilarious that he is going out there at the beginning of the match and be like, "What, y'all not fucking with Ibushi? Say his name. Come on, let's." Like really playing it up and really drilling it home. And I think the promo that he has after was just great. Like if he beats Okada, I'm getting the jerseys made.
Yeah. Wow. How about if he gets a really good match out of this Okada? Hell yes.
Oh yeah. Either or. The jerseys are getting printed regardless. Honestly.
You want to give the jersey out so bad.
Yeah.
I'm not allowing it.
I think he needs it because first year Jay White for the first couple months when Tanahashi when he came back re-debuted at Wrestle Kingdom and then he lost, I thought he was dead in the water.
And then that terrible that terrible title run he had, that was with
the US belt, and now
I'm talking about the heavyweight belt. The heavyweight run he had was awful.
Yeah, not that great either. But now it's just like I can't stop recommending people to watch his stuff. Like that is a drastic change.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it also speaks to you got to spend time with some of these people. It takes time. I think he would be better served without all of the interference. But very very tightly constructed match. I thought Ibushi really went off here. Ibushi's very, very understated so far.
They're not truly. Well, I'm watching on Japanese commentary, but like it doesn't seem like they're making Ibushi much of a big deal here, which is kind of weird to me.
Right.
Because he won it last year, but they're not truly like bigging up or not everybody is like talking about Ibushi like that this tournament, which I find is weird.
They're all talking about Taichi and Jay White, and it's very odd. It's very odd. But on A block, as we go into the second week of the G1, you have Jay White and Taichi, surprisingly, at the top with 2 wins apiece. Will Ospreay with 2 wins apiece as well. So we got 3 people with 4 points right now. Kota Ibushi, Jeff Cobb, and Minoru Suzuki are all 1-1 with 2 points. Okada 1-1 as well. Suzuki is 1-1 as well. Ishii 0, Shingo 0, Yujiro 0. Let me just say, one of these 3 are getting knocked out this week. There's no way that all 3 of them can stay away from that third loss. I think it might be Yujiro though.
Yeah, hey, if Shingo is the first to go before Yujiro.
Whew. Pot of shame. The podcast of shame is you.
I'm gonna record in the rain.
But A block so far, I gotta say, in the first week, very strong competitors. We've got some bangers coming up in the next couple of weeks with the A block. So on the 27th, we have Okada versus Jay White, Ospreay versus Shingo, Kota Ibushi versus Ishii, Cobb versus Suzuki, and Taichi versus Yujiro. And on the 30th, we have Ishii versus Shingo. So that means that if these two, realistically, if one of them has a win, since they're 1 away from being knocked out, it's a must-win situation between these two. Essentially.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Shingo's out of here. If they both win on Sunday, right? So that means if
inevitable.
If Shingo beats Ospreay and Ishii beats Kota, which I think they'll probably just split that one in half. One of them is going to be knocked out by the end of this show.
Yeah. Ospreay versus Shingo. Yeah, let's just nail the casket down. let me get my all black on.
We also on the 30th have Ospreay versus Jay White, Okada versus Taichi, Ibushi versus Jeff Cobb, Suzuki versus Yujiro, and finally to close out the week, we have Ibushi versus Ospreay. Oh my God. Ishii versus Taichi, Okada versus Suzuki, Jeff Cobb versus Jay White, and Shingo versus Yujiro. Huge week for the A block this week, I must say.
Yeah, but I'm kind of bummed. I'm very scared for Shingo right now. Like I already know he's not gonna win, but for him to be knocked out first, that makes me kind of sad.
He can play spoiler. I think the best place for him is to play spoiler more than Yujiro. Yujiro beating people that we like is a lot harder on the heart than Shingo having banger matches and winning and knowing that he got that moral victory, and then we can see that match down the line. To me, I think that's way better than Yujiro playing spoiler. Just kind of keep him up there, but somebody has to take this role in the A block, and if it's Shingo, swim good, my brother. Let's move over to night 4 on the B block. Another pretty strong showing, but let's start off with Goto. Now, if you want to talk about Jersey in the rafters.
Let's talk about it.
You want to talk about Jersey in the rafters.
Hey, man, I know when I say Goto is a very good wrestler, I know people kind of looking at me funny. People looking at me crazy. But let's just acknowledge greatness.
I'm not going to look at you crazy. I've always been a fan of Goto. I've just never been a fan of his booking. His booking's always been terrible. Yeah. But what he was able to pull out of Sonata in this match, magical, because Sonata is not my favorite. I'm pretty sure he's not yours either. But what he did here was really, really good. He manages to steal the win here with the GTR on Sonata. Again, as much as Goto worked and as hard as he worked, I still do not see the obsession with New Japan and Sonata and putting him in these situations. It just doesn't.
I don't get it at all. I don't. Like, Okada has beaten this man into the dirt. Mm-hmm. Let's just stop it. Like, it's getting ridiculous at that point.
And before that, it was Omega that was beating him a lot, and then before that, it was Nakamura that was beating him all the time. It was a lot of people that have walked over him, so to speak, in New Japan. I just want to see him get something good for once, right? Like I want to see him get something.
Yeah, but for this match, I really liked when it's kind of clear when you're watching it how it becomes like it's Sonata's pacing. With all the reversals between the GTR and the Skull N, and then soon as it became Goto's pace after Sonata got the Yugi Goroshi, the match is like skyrockets in quality, and I loved it.
He's just too slow in plotting, and I'm going to say this about another match on the card as well, but it's like. The best matches on these cards have been the ones that start from the beginning and just keep going. The ones that are plotting and do the New Japan, we got to build up to the last third, have not done well for me personally. Yeah. So this was another example of that, but Goto managed to work around it very well. I went about 3 1/4 on it. Next up, we had Yano versus Tanahashi. I thought this match was hilarious. I thought that it was plotted very well.
It's pretty.
I thought you would hate it. But
it's pretty fucking good. All my slander last episode, I will eat crow and I would admit that this match is really great. And if you really want to, like, the psychology of this match is really fucking good.
Yeah, essentially the psychology is that Yano and Tanahashi and their, mixing of styles, they're trying to outdo each other with their respective qualities and their skills. So Tanahashi tries to out wrestle Yano, and Yano out wrestles Tanahashi, and then Yano tries to out cheat Tanahashi, and Tanahashi's game to cheat. So I mean, essentially it becomes like a battle of two minds, and then you get to the end where it's like, okay, they're doing a forearm strike, and they mix both of them together, and Yano hits Tanahashi hits you call it a 4 flat, and then he tries to get back into the ring at the 19 mark, and Yano's like, oh shit, you tried to fool me. But I think the best part of this was when Tanahashi gets smarter than Yano, and then he uses Yano's tape to tape his eyes shut so he can't find the ring. But Yano, I thought it was just amazing how they set that up.
When he started wrapping the eyes, I was just like, no way you don't know where the big ass ring is. Like, there's no way. And then it was just like, oh, but like, Yano is secretly really good at wrestling, and he could do this shit with his eyes closed.
Yeah,
and then he picks up a win. Like it's great. I thought it was truly amazing, and I don't leave it to Tanahashi to get a really good match out of him. I don't think this is gonna happen with anybody else, honestly.
Absolutely not. So we're in an interesting place with Tanahashi here. He has now taken his second loss.
So he's my man about to start steamrolling.
Before, I feel like they did this last year too.
Yes, they did.
And they always set that up. But I'll be interested in seeing if he takes the third loss within the next 2 weeks, just to kind of put him out of there. I just don't think I feel like the last time they put the belt on him was the last time he was ever going to get the belt because they had to put it on somebody.
They just had to get Omega out of here.
Yeah, they had to do that. So it's interesting that he's taking his second loss, but shout out to Yano for picking up his second win on the G1. The next match here, I think, was probably the worst match of the weekend, and that's, of course, even with Yujiro matches, so that says a lot. Juice Robinson versus Kenta. I'm sorry, man. Juice just doesn't do it for me. He's not doing it for me here, and he's probably never done it for me just in general. From the moments where he just got his ass whipped by Jon Moxley last year to this right here.
Jon Moxley hoed that man. That hurt. Like that's a hurt. Like I don't think he's going to be able to recover, especially like seeing it now. Like I think he's cooked, man.
Absolutely. So I mean, again, we have the plotting New Japan style This is the second time Juice Robinson's done this. The first time with the Yoshihashi match.
Just why is everybody adjusting so well and he's the only one that isn't?
I don't know. And it's weird because Kenta seemed game to go for it, but Juice, for a lot of the match, had control. So it was very like weird. So like Juice is a really good baby face, but I felt like the crowd did not give a shit about this match. And I feel like they didn't care about the Yoshihashi one either. Like he's trying to get that "We Will Rock You" chant off, and no one's really fucking with it.
It's the most, oh my God, I hate that. It's like the most generic thing ever. Like you did like just did anything with that. But like, yeah, Juice Robinson, I am a fan, or was a fan, or let's brush that up a bit. I believe that he can do very well in the ring when he wants to. Or like maybe if it's not when he wants to, it's just like he could surprise us sometimes. And I'm always open to being surprised by him. I'm just like, this year, I don't think he's just going to do it. Like, I think this is going to be like the worst Juice year, you know, like even when he was like doing tags with Dave Finlay. Like this is a really bad look for him right now.
Yeah. I mean, and then it was a 17-minute match, and this wasn't the main event. Like it was a really long match. Like, I felt like we could have got more out of Goto and Sonata than we did here. And it would have
definitely.
But there was no gear. There was no second gear to this match. I know I've been saying this a lot, but there just wasn't. And
this feels like Kenta's matches when he like first came in, you know?
Right.
Like he's adjusted very well. Like he had an amazing match with Goto, and then now which was like sort of like, it was a much shorter match. Like it wasn't that crazy of like a sprint or anything, but like, I don't know, Juice Robinson, I think is it for this year, man.
But I mean, he picks up the win against Kenta here, beat him with the Pulp Friction, 17-01. It felt like it was 27-01. Juice Robinson keeps going on up. Next up, we have Evil versus Yoshihashi. Both these guys came in with 0 points. This was probably my shocker, even more so than the Taichi Suzuki match. This was my shocker of the week, possibly of the year. This match banged. This was really good.
I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan.
What's up with Yoshihashi?
I'm fighting with Yoshihashi, man. I'm a fan. I don't know who this new kid is, but I love him. He is what I thought Juice was going to be in this tournament.
Oh wow. That's bars. That is bars right there.
Yeah,
he comes into the match with violence, straight violence from the beginning on Evil.
I know he just ran in there. He said, "I know y'all boys be cheating." Came in there, gave Evil a smoke real quick. Love it. I love it.
Smoked him, and then before the bell rang, start strangling him with the cane, the big the Goku pole that he has, choking him out. I loved it, but he's been on his game since the beginning of the G1, and I think again he's trying to get you invested into these matches. I've been so much more invested in Yoshihashi than I've ever been in these last two nights, and I think that it has to do with the fact that he's actually been trying a whole lot, especially in the Juice Robinson match, which I wasn't really a huge fan of, but that wasn't Yoshihashi's fault. And I think, a big part of it is the perception and changing the perception going forward. And Yoshihashi did it here. And I think that he helped Evil 10 times more than any other match has that I've seen in the past couple of months. Because Evil to me has just been he's just been heel number 25 on the show. And here he seemed like the top heel that they want him to be.
Yeah, and shout outs to Yoshihashi for truly overcoming on the cheating. Like him survive, like, he loses, but him surviving the chair shot to the back, the wire,
the low blow.
Yeah, the first low blow. Like at that point I thought, whatever, the match is going to be over after this. But him being super resilient, him kicking out of the Darkness Falls at like 1.8, I say, yeah, he to go. I
thought it was actually interesting because, the same thing that they're doing with Tanahashi, and to a certain extent they're doing with Ibushi, having some of the favorites kind of start slow and then like pick up steam. I thought they were going to have Yoshihashi win here, but they actually didn't go that way, and they had Evil win. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting going through the card and going down the line, especially in the A block, seeing like which one of these undefeated guys are actually going to not only take their first loss, but actually come out on top. Because on the A block, you have all of the guys are on the top of the card right now. So who's really gonna slow down in the next week or so with everything going on? But
I'm curious who are going to be the people that beat Naito.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like truly curious of, because we're going to talk about. I thought Naito was going to lose this next match, but he doesn't. So he already beat Tanahashi, though. Like he faced two people that have beaten him in the past, so it's going to be truly weird who comes out next. I feel like Sonata might get a win on him, honestly.
Oh my God! Please no.
And that's going to be the match that we get at King of Pro Wrestling.
How many Sonata matches? Or how many title matches did Sonata get last year that we hated with Okada? Oh my God, it was terrible.
Only proving Evil's point even more that he is not appreciated.
But let's go right into the main event here for the B block on night 4. We had Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tetsuya Naito. We got to have a conversation again.
Naito, a lot of jerseys are going to be printed.
Yeah, Naito might be back. He might be back, sir. I know you're happy about this.
When you sent me the text, "Ayo, Naito, we got to have a conversation about Naito." I was just like, "Oh, please don't tell me, the Zack Sabre Jr. match sucks." And he was just like, "Nah, he might be back."
He really might be back. I think again, it says a lot that these guys got a long break in between, because it feel like of anyone that needed it and actually benefited from it, Naito seems to be reinvigorated in the past 2 weeks on these shows. I think that he kept up with Zack Sabre Jr. He actually was starting to do his own type of grappling and wrestle fuck shit. Like he looked really good in there.
Who was that guy that was in there for the first 5 minutes of this match? Who is that? I do not know who that man is.
He turned back the hands of time.
This man said, "You know what? I need to go back to 2007. 2017. This is where I need to go." And he regained his speed. He's doing amazing mat wrestling with Zack Sabre Jr. here. Keeping up with submissions and stuff. Like, who is this man?
I think my only issue with this match, it was a long match. It was about 28 minutes. I felt like they were trying to tease the draw too much, which hurt the beginning of the match.
And when I text you, if this match is a draw, it wasn't like if this match is a draw, that's bad. It was just like, I'm ready for it. Like I'm ready for this to be a draw. And like, what a good match to like be a draw,
Yeah.
Stardom has been doing a lot of like time limit draw stuffs for like their 20-minute matches. But I just thought it was just really good. And personally, I was just like, I didn't want it to stop, but I was just like, it probably should. Like, you should probably end it right now.
But I thought the last half and the final third, the counter of the Destino from the Zack driver, I jumped out my seat. That shit looked like it was
the spot that when Zack Sabre Jr. does the tornado DDT when he like kicks off the ring post. That shocked me out of nowhere. I was just like, who is this guy?
It was such a hot, and again, I'm not a huge fan for everyone that's getting one finish to a fall to all of their finishers. Naito still having to do 3 Destinos is really insane to me. I think
I feel like that last one, that was just this is the nail in the coffin. Like I don't because one of them was a counter.
Yeah, that was the one he pinned off of and he kicked out of it too. And then he countered the Zack driver. Then he did another one. And that's what finished the match.
He was going crazy on him.
After that, I was like, oh, okay, my guy's back. I think that I didn't enjoy this as much as the Tanahashi match. I still think the Tanahashi match is one of my favorite matches of the year as I think on it. But this was definitely a strong main event and probably the strongest main event of any other show so far.
I think Naito being on a 2 good match streak is enough for me.
So right now, as it stands on the B block, you have Naito, Yano, and Juice Robinson standing at the top with 4 points apiece, 2 wins each. Zack Sabre Jr., Kenta, Evil, and Goto at 2 points each, 1-1, all of them. And Tanahashi, Sanada, and Yoshihashi 0-2, 0 points. I would expect this next week that Tanahashi and Kenta or Evil are going to be moving up a little bit more. Let's look at the schedule for this week on the B block. We have a little bit of a break on the 28th, but on the 29th, they're back with Goto versus Naito, probably in the main event. Yano versus Evil. Tanahashi versus Juice Robinson, Kenta versus Zack Sabre Jr., and Yoshihashi versus Sanada. And we also have on the 1st, Tetsuya Naito versus Sanada. So there you go. Cyrus, your prediction might come true. Kenta versus Evil in a Bullet Club versus Bullet Club match. Tanahashi versus Yoshihashi. Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Juice Robinson versus Toru Yano.
Hey, man. Goto about to give us some bangers.
I hope so. I really do. I think that he could be one of the sleepers coming out of this and really, shock the world, really. Really a bit of a weird schedule next week with the A block and block and B block. We're getting like 3 nights of A block and like 2 of B block. So just know that when we do these shows next week, they're going to be skewed quite heavily towards the A block because that's just the way they're setting it up.
Just bear with us, honestly.
So the next time you're going to hear from us will be on the 30th. So that's going to be Wednesday. Obviously, we're going to watch the shows on the 27th. We get that day break, and then we have the 29th. We'll have the show to you guys on the 30th. That is Wednesday. But so far, man, what would you say in the first week, Cyrus, is your favorite match of the week so far? And I think there have been a lot of choices that we could pick, but what do you think?
Oh, man. Just because it's like kind of fresh in my mind, I truly loved the Jay White and Kota Ibushi match. Strong second has to be the Naito and Tanahashi.
Okay. Tanahashi, Naito to me is my first. I'm very, very partial to the Ospreay Ishii match. It was literally what I wanted to see. It was the type of match I wanted to see. I really, really love that one. But if I had to pick a third, I would probably go with the Naito Zack Sabre Jr. match. I think Naito's at the top for me of everything. Next week is going to be crazy. So strap in, everyone. We're going to be going long form on a lot of these matches that's going to go on, including Okada versus Jay White, including Ospreay versus Shingo, including Goto versus Naito and Sanada. We've got some great, beautiful pro wrestling. Can we say New Japan is back, Cyrus, or are we going to wait another week?
New Japan's back. New Japan is back, baby. So, of course, please subscribe to the A Show Network. Listen to shows such as the A Show, this show you're listening to right now, the G Show, Spot Callers, as well as, man, you've been going over the Stardom thing, right, Cyrus? You've been doing a little special thing over there, huh? Yeah, this another one of the special episodes should be coming out fairly soon, and we're going to try to do something special for the finale. Unlike the G1, it's live, so we can't watch it, but Stardom does the shows and then puts it out on the network. So the tournament's already over, but we haven't seen the finals yet, which is like, it was a weird time. But I have something special planned for that when we do the finals. And there's just a lot of good, just like there's a lot of good wrestling here on in New Japan, there's a lot of great stuff happening in Stardom.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for listening. We will see you all next week on the G Show. For Cyrus, I am Justin. Peace out and be safe.